Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. Expect a meltdown from the governor's office when he hears what Ande has to say.
Sam, with our shortfall in the budget and more of it coming up in the next session, is it time to finally sit down and negotiate for some money with the federal government in order to take nuclear waste? We're going to talk to Allison about that. And then remember the show we had last week where we talked about Medicaid? And everybody wanted that list of which states were best. Well, Chuck Duarte's here today from the state to tell us that. Sam?
And coming up on the pundit panel, Connie McMullen, Marybel, Batjer from the governor's office, and Dick Gammick. It's all coming up next on the all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
The Abowed family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Catch a straight, dine at 8. Lucky you. Lucky you. Dance till 1. Have some fun. Lucky you. Lucky you. Taste the shrimp. Have a sip. Try the pool. Play it cool. At the Sienna Hotel Spa Casino. Lucky you.
The biggest risk your company can take.
Well, Barbara, you did very well on your interview.
Hiring employees can help your business get to the next level.
And your resume looks outstanding.
And it can also expose you to corporate crimes and costly lawsuits that can bring your company to its knees.
So, we'd like to offer you a position.
Before you hire another employee, hire the professionals at Employer Links. Call today to get our free CD-ROM, the top 8 risks of hiring employees.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years. Call 882-1700 to see what we can do for your organization.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad, political analyst Ande Engleman on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the News 4 Broadcast Center, here's Sam Shad.
And we kick off today's show with Allison. He's a Washington, D.C. based lobbyist. One of the things that he lobbies on behalf of is bringing nuclear waste to Nevada. Does that bother you when that's like the first thing that people bring up?
No, but that's sort of typical of the disinformation, Sam, that's out there. I didn't lobby for. In fact, I lobbied against bringing nuclear waste to Nevada. 1982, Democratic Congress, and 87 again. That's when it passed. In the early 90s, I decided, and I still strongly believe, that this is going to happen. I'm a Nevadan. I love Nevada, and I think Nevada should be at the table, checking the science. I think they should be getting benefits, entitlements for what's going on. If it eventually does not come here because of science, so be it. But in the meantime, I think that we ought to get at the table. We have an interesting deal. You have the head of Nevada's largest, most important scientific project is a history teacher. And there's nothing against history teachers, but somehow that doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
You're talking about Bob Lux?
Bob Lux and the Luckettes, I call them, the cheerleaders, yeah.
Oh, well, okay. Well, in Bob's defense, he couldn't be here today because he had a hearing on water. But in Bob's defense, I think he's become an expert on nuclear waste over the years. I mean, there's very little about it that he doesn't know.
I think they had a predetermined position, and he's set out to reinforce it. That's my opinion. But more importantly than that, is the state going to sit by and watch this happen, or are they going to be a participant? You know, in New Mexico, for example, they had 2 suits filed against it. At the same time, they formed an environmental group to have overseers, and they participated in the process. So the point is, it's not to me whether you want it or not want it, it's whether you think it's inevitable. And by the way, 88% of Nevadans think it's inevitable, and 76% think you ought to negotiate for benefits.
I've been seeing that, particularly with our taxes going up and so forth. But now I heard that in New Mexico, they ended up not getting any money for the nuclear waste that got stored there.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I have a letter from the mayor of Carlsbad, California. That's, again, another thing that I believe was made up pretty much by Nevadans that are against it, because they didn't want Nevadans really to think that the benefits were there. So they came up speaking for New Mexico.
And this is Carlsbad, New Mexico,
right? Let me just real quickly read the mayor of New Mexico.
Just a small portion.
I'll read real quick. In the early years, WHIP had approximately 30% approval in southeastern New Mexico. After working with the DOZ, observing their commitments, etc., the support has risen to 95%. Most importantly, we work as a partner with the Department of Energy. I would suggest that Nevadans who state that you should not negotiate DOB for benefits associated with the hosting the Yucca Mountain Repository do a tremendous disservice to the state of Nevada, and then they list the millions and millions and millions of dollars that they've received, and also the fact that their young people are coming home, that it's a highly scientific community now, and they are competing for additional nuclear projects. So to suggest that they're unhappy down there is absolutely not true.
Okay, one of the things that concerns me, and I'm sure it concerns others too, is the transportation. It's not the story so much, but the transportation. You know, if there were to be an accident of any kind, that would just be horrific for Nevada.
Well, Sam, first of all, as you may or may not know, there's been over 3,000 shipments to date. There's been over 1.7 million miles covered in transporting nuclear waste in the United States in the last 30 years. There's 70,000 metric tons of spent fuel been moved internationally, and there's never been an incident or release of radioactivity. Understand, it's not gas, it's not an explosion. The containers are unbelievable with the lead and the outside, and they're even more foolproof now than they were.
But I mean, the amount of transportation that we'll be talking about if this comes to the fore is huge multiples of the numbers you just gave.
Yeah. It's over a long period of time, and you know, they're not going to move them all in one day. They'll do it appropriately. They'll have safeguards. There's millions and millions of dollars being spent for the people that would go along the rails as well as the state.
One of the other things that concerns me is that it's not as though we're going to take this, if we were to take the nuclear waste, that we take the nuclear waste that is there presently, they're making more. And the problem is going to continue. We're not actually solving the problem by moving the waste to Nevada.
Well, let me suggest even something more than that. I think that nuclear, which is absolutely, you know, 1 out of every 5 homes or businesses are powered by nuclear, okay? And then there's also
but that's more on the East Coast than it is
yeah,
here.
but we use nuclear even in Nevada.
A little bit, a percentage.
Yeah,
small percentage.
A very important
but it's not
percentage.
generated here.
But my point is that the issue is not going to go away. Remember back in 1975, Dick Bryan, Michael Callan, all these people, they asked that the waste be brought here. And their point being that the test site had the best workforce in the world, they were losing all those jobs, et cetera, et cetera. And then all of a sudden, I think politically the wind shifted, and I can understand that I understand what the political guys are doing. But the point is, it's my personal opinion, as well as the opinion of a lot of people in Congress, that's gone on 20 years. They spent $8 billion in scientific research. The total project is $57 billion. The economic benefits are hundreds of millions of dollars a year now. They're going to grow, grow, and grow. Now, you can put your head in the sand and pretend it's not going to happen. I think it probably will.
All right, how much money could we get?
Yeah,
and the government hasn't been real good on sending its money. It makes a lot of promises to Nevada, but we see very little of the green.
Well, the government, when they promise you something anywhere, you know, you have to double check. But the fact is that the hundreds of millions of dollars being spent right now, it'll ramp up to 1,500 jobs at a time. New Mexico is a classic example.
I asked for a dollar figure.
Oh yeah, whatever, you know, it depends on what you want. The way we're doing now, no, do you realize?
I think the bottom line is that
small counties
who comes up with the number first loses the negotiation.
Oh.
No.
So I mean.
So you're suggesting we should negotiate, but you don't know the number.
No, actually, I think that it's foolish. If we say that we're against bringing nuclear waste to Nevada, then we should stick to our guns and not negotiate anything because we don't want it here. But the governor and previous governors have been fighting for years. Delaying to keep it out of Nevada. If you start to negotiate, you're saying, hey, yeah, we would accept it under some circumstances.
No, I don't agree. I don't agree with that at all. But
that doesn't make sense. If I come to you and I say
it's-
to you,
it's- there's
okay,
something
if we would
inherently unfair,
get, hang on, if we would get $100 million, just for example,
Sure.
And I say to you, okay, let's negotiate. I'll get $100 million worth of benefit for Nevada if we were to take that nuclear waste dump. How can I then argue to say we don't want the nuclear waste dump?
No, that isn't what I'm saying. You get a lot of benefits. You're getting a lot of benefits now. Do you know that the universities are getting millions and millions of dollars already? Does that mean they sold out?
No.
The small counties are getting millions and millions of dollars already. Does that mean they sold out?
I don't disagree.
And you know what?
But it's the
In
state that's-
1993, there was a deal up to $100 million a year set until Dick Ryan, Senator Bryan, heard about it and kiboshed it. Where, remember, this money comes from ratepayers' money. It's not federal money.
Well, it comes from the industry.
No, it comes from the ratepayers of the industry.
Right, but
There's
but
a
I mean, but
1/10 of
basically-
a cent tax on a kilowatt hour.
Right,
Okay?
but that was the deal that was struck to be able to put up
so-
the money
so
for this.
to
You
answer
know
your-
what? I got to tell you, we are out of time. We will have you back, I promise. Okay?
You
We'll
got
talk
it.
more. Ed Allison, thanks for being here. We'll be back on Nevada Newsmakers after this time out.
Interest rates remain at all-time historic lows. Now's a great time to purchase or refinance in the Northern Nevada area. Hi, I'm Valerie Hedlund, Operations Manager of CTX Mortgage. We pride ourselves in giving face-to-face service, local processing, local underwriting, immediate loan approvals in a private and professional office setting. We at CTX choose to do business differently. This is our local team of processors and operations staff that are dedicated to providing you the highest level of service. Please call any of the loan officers on our CTX team.
Would you like to savor a Trento pork chop? Or maybe pasta rags with grilled chicken? Hugo's Tuscan Grill at DeAndrea is a celebration of color, flavor, and freshness. Each dish is created from natural, wholesome foods that is delicious and nutritious. Hugo's is a comfortable restaurant with breathtaking city views. If you enjoy great food and good company, visit us here at Hugo's. It's the best that dining can be. 2900 South DeAndrea Parkway in Sparks.
Welcome to Sushi Club, best sushi in town. The Sushi Club in Independence Square used the best quality products. The sushi is dynamite, and the service is just wonderful.
The Sushi Club is bigger and better. We have 11 sushi chefs on staff, and the service is great.
All your friends will tell you that Sushi Club is the best place for the best sushi.
Come join us for lunch or dinner.
The Sushi Club, 294 East Moana Lane in the Independence Square.
Now that's great sushi.
If you love good food and you like good wine and all in a beautiful setting, we've got the perfect evening for you.
The Event Center at Red Hawk, Michael Mondavi Wine Dinner, Chef Ken and his fabulous food, 4 courses paired with Michael Mondavi wines. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh, it sounds perfect, Al. It's all coming up on September 18th right here at Red Hawk. Make sure you call early to get your reservation in. It's going to be an evening not to be missed.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
And we welcome to the program Chuck Duarte, who is the administrator of the Nevada State Division of Healthcare, Financing, and Policy. Welcome to the program.
It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you for being here. As you know, last week we had Connie McMullen on, and we got into a discussion of how bad Nevada is for Medicaid patients. We got a lot of calls afterwards asking which states are good for Medicaid patients. Can you tell us that?
Well, it depends on what you consider good, but if it means how much we spend per capita, we are one of the lowest spenders per capita on Medicaid in the nation. Some of the highest spenders are states like New York, Rhode Island, Maryland. So they have a significant investment in their Medicaid programs.
What loss does this result in for the patients?
Well, for Nevadans, it means that we run a fairly conservative program. We have some very tight eligibility criteria, which makes it difficult for particularly seniors and individuals with disabilities to get on the program.
And now Connie was talking about waivers. Can you explain sort of briefly what waivers are?
Sure. A waiver is a federal agreement with the state of Nevada to waive certain rules. It allows us to provide services that otherwise we wouldn't provide to the rest of our Medicaid population, and also to expand eligibility. And particularly important is the ability to provide services to keep people at home, in the community, and out of institutions like nursing facilities.
Okay, now, and Connie said that we only do 1 or 2 waivers in this state.
When we have more that we could actually go for.
Yeah,
Well,
that there are actually 8 or something. Or
actually, we have 4. We have 2 waivers for seniors, the Community Home-Based Initiative Program and the Group Care Waiver Program. We have a physical disabilities waiver, and we also have a waiver for individuals who are mentally retarded or have developmental disabilities. So we have a variety of waiver programs that are available to clients and have greatly expanded those over the last 4 years.
Can we get more?
Oh, we certainly can. All it takes is money. And we're budgeted to bring in 1,600 patients into the program, our community home-based initiative program for seniors. By the end of fiscal year 05, over 300 people in fiscal year 05 for our group care waiver. We've expanded physical disabilities waiver and the other waivers as well.
Well, let's talk politics. I mean, doesn't it make sense for government leaders who are looking at senior citizens who are moving here in droves because of the great land that we live in here in Nevada, that if we don't start providing more services for them, that they're going to vote the people who are in office out of office if they don't get what they want?
Well, it's kind of a double-edged sword, too, because what a lot of states feel is that if they enhance their Medicaid programs, it actually attracts people to the area, people that may cost the state taxpayers money. So it's kind of a double-edged sword in terms of what people want. From my perspective, I think it's important to maintain a stable base of providers so that we can serve the Nevadans with the best programs possible. And it is going to be tight in this next fiscal biennium for us to do that.
Okay, well, Andy got an email saying, okay, well, if Nevada's not the best place to live if you're a senior and you want these services, where is?
Well, like I said, New York, Maryland, Rhode Island, those kinds of places offer pretty liberal benefits in terms of their Medicaid programs. The downside is you got to live there, I guess.
You have to move east, in other words. It isn't California, then?
Not California.
Okay. And one might be surprised. Chuck Duarte, thank you so much for being here.
You're very welcome.
We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We'll be back on Nevada Newsmakers after this brief timeout.
Before you head to Carson, take care of yourself with a visit to Tamarack Junction. Catch a hot cup of coffee and the morning news on one of our 32 TVs and enjoy the best food in South Reno. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
The Abowed family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Today's lesson, another reason to take the Gold Rush Club Card Challenge. With the Gold Rush Card, you really have 3 cards in one. Use your cash back. You still keep your comps and drawing tickets. Use your comps. You still keep your cash and drawing tickets. And with your drawing tickets, you could win thousands in cold hard cash every week. And still keep your cash back and comps. Does your club add up? Graduate to the Gold Rush Players Club. It's the smart thing to do. The Gold Dust West, south on Keystone, east on 4th.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo free checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Make your daily commute easy with breakfast or lunch at the Tamarack Junction. Enjoy daily specials, super fast service, and South Reno's freshest morning meals. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're joined by our pundit panel here today. Connie McMullen, who is the editor of Senior Spectrum, Dick Gammick, our district attorney here in Washoe County, and Marybel Batjer, the chief of staff to Governor Guinn. You know, Andy, I understand that Marybel did not watch the morning show here on Channel 4 on Monday.
I lucked out. You're going to bring it up, though, aren't you?
I thought you might want to repeat some of the comments you made on Monday and let somebody from the governor's office respond.
I pointed out that although the governor says he didn't have anything to do with that task force, which is difficult to say, that in fact he brought it back on a special agenda in the special session when they did reapportionment. It was on that agenda, at which at the press conference, according to my notes, he handpicked everything. So that is how it passed, and then he chose to appoint 3 Democrats to it, which gave it a majority of 5 Democrats to 3 Republicans.
Well, Andy, a lot of that was in statute, so he had to by statute. His appointees were in the law, and bringing it back on the special session agenda, the governor has a rule that if a resolution or a bill has been caught just by time between the 2 houses, as that was, he puts it on the agenda of the call, if you will. So those were really dictated. I mean, the task force was indeed a proposition that was brought forward into a bill by the legislature, and they named it the governor's task force. That's not to say we didn't have, and the governor didn't have great respect for the efforts of those public citizens who donated their time. Guy Hobbs was...
But I believe that Pete Ernott from the governor's office at the time also was enthusiastic about having the task force.
Well, correction if I may, I was chief of staff at that point in time. Right. Pete Ernott was not.
Okay.
And I don't know that Pete had any involvement in it other than just political advising the governor as his role was at that time during the campaign. So the governor... and we
were talking 2001.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was named the governor's task force. It was not his creation. It was a creation of the legislature.
Okay, I have one quick follow-up also that we brought up on Monday's show, which was that how well does the governor think he's going to be able to work with the Assembly Republicans? Does he really think that he's going to be able to heal wounds with most of them?
Absolutely. The governor is a very good Republican. He donated to many of their campaigns. I'm sure he'll get out, do door-to-door, work hard. He and the First Lady both are very committed to not only the current Republicans in our legislature, but growing that number. So we have a majority in the Assembly.
Okay, let's move on to nuke waste, and we'll start out with Dick Gammick. What did you think of Ed Allison's comments here?
I unfortunately, for a lot of people, they're not going to agree with what I say, but I agree with a lot of what he said. One area in this whole nuke waste debate that needs to be fixed, and it was brought up by Andy, is all of the nuke waste that we're generating, something needs to be done with that. One of the proposals have been is to take a lot of that money from the federal government, and again, that's assuming they honor their promises and everything, put that into the university system, build the research facilities, and go to work on doing something productive with that material so we don't just stockpile it from now on. So it's either rendered safe, totally safe, or it's used in some other capacity. And as long as we keep fighting this, we're not going to be eligible for those kinds of things.
You know, Sam, there was a lot that Ed Allison brought up that I really have to refute. And I don't disagree with Dick's comments about university research. That's very important, and it is ongoing now, and the nuclear energy is paying, or the industry is paying for a lot of that. First of all, Bob Lux does work for the governor. He has a staff of experts. He may not be a scientist, but he has many on staff as consultants and hires them under contract. One of the things that Ed said, that it is inevitable that this waste is coming into Nevada. Well, Ed was an author of a 1990 public relations report that was paid for by the nuclear energy, that the whole effort, $9 million to convince Nevadans to create an atmosphere of inevitability, was spent by the nuclear energy industry. And Ed's a dear friend of the governor's, dear friend of mine, but he is a paid public relations person for the industry.
Well,
and
but
in
he
his
did
report,
make some points about concessions at a time when we're budget strapped. He made a good point. I hate the thought of bringing that here, but we have twice the national average of increase in Medicaid recipients. We do need dollars to help people. We are the lowest paid, but yet people continue to want to move here and live here.
But I got to tell you, I just find it absolutely horrible that the nuclear energy industry will take advantage of Nevada in an economically vulnerable time and allow us to think that we should prostitute ourselves to bring waste into our state and be paid to do this.
I think that they would want to take advantage of this if we were booming. I don't think there's any doubt about that. They want to move the stuff from where it is.
They're pushing very hard now because of our
them.
Economic downturn, though. I assure you, the calls I've had, they're pushing hard.
How could we fight them?
The fact still remains we're one of the smallest states in the country. This stuff has got to go somewhere.
No, it doesn't.
Now, Senator
No,
Reid.
it doesn't. It doesn't have to go somewhere.
It
can stay right where it is.
That's
Why
exactly
does it have to
right.
come here? It's because they don't want to deal with the problem on their own doorstep, because there's millions of people living around those nuclear power plants where they're storing the waste, and they'd much rather send it to Nevada, where we've got 1.5 million people.
It, which they've never done a study about.
Well, you know, we could for a second take a look at France, which is all nuclear energy driven and has almost no air conditioning, and people are dying during a heat spell over there. I mean, things are really bad in France because of the heat spell, and there is no air conditioning. If nuclear power is so great, why don't they have air conditioning in France?
Well, I think that's a different issue, however. But if I
Tex,
may,
thank you for bringing that
asked
up.
how we can fight it. We are fighting it in federal district court. We have an excellent team of attorneys. We have, we're going before the judges in probably as early as January, and I think we're going to win.
Well, and if not, we're going to delay, correct?
No, we're before the courts. We are before the courts, and we have a good chance before the courts, and we also have our opportunity. The political process didn't even the playing ground. Before the courts, little old Nevada, with only our 4 or 5 representatives, can't fight the rest of the country. But you know what? We have an equal footing before the judges, and we're going to fight this. And before the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, we also have a good chance.
I need to disclose that I was the first citizen to contribute to the Fund to Fight Nuclear Waste. It was in the newspaper, so...
And you contributed?
$5.
$5.
If every citizen gave a little money, it would...
Good for you, Andy.
Well, talking about Mr. Duarte's comments about moving to...
15 seconds.
15 seconds. Go to New York. Per capita spending, Medicaid spending, $1,600 per person. In Nevada, $327 per person a year.
City.
Marybel, you want to respond to that very, very briefly?
Well, our Medicaid dollars, as Jack said, we have to watch over them very, very carefully. We have a really tight budget, and we do need to provide services for the less needy in our community.
Okay, and that's where we have to end it. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
Big Apple Pizza, best pizza in Nevada, take one.
Today we're making homemade meatballs for a meatball parm. You like cheesesteak? I think you're like in South Philly right now. It's the best cheese ever made. Now that's how a Philly cheesesteak's supposed to look.
And here's Little Cole.
This is authentic. We'll throw some pepperoni in here. Not gonna be shy about it. Yeah, I bet you guys didn't know I could do that. Don't skimp on the toppings. Authentic as it gets. Big Apple Pizza and Subs on the corner of Bering and McCarran. A New Jersey guy who knows how to make an East Coast pizza.
Would you like to savor a Trento pork chop? Or maybe pasta rags with grilled chicken? Hugo's Tuscan Grill at D'Andrea is a celebration of color, flavor, and freshness. Each dish is created from natural, wholesome foods that is delicious and nutritious. Hugo's is a comfortable restaurant with breathtaking city views. If you enjoy great food and good company, visit us here at Hugo's. It's the best that dining can be. 2900 South D'Andrea Parkway in Sparks.
It's America's largest historical district, and it's fun for the entire family. Virginia City is where the West comes alive every day, from train rides to gunslingers. Your gang can explore mines and interesting museums, visit historic saloons, and do some great shopping. Virginia City is the ultimate in family entertainment, and it's very affordable. Come up and stay overnight in our hotels, motels, and RV park. Virginia City, the Wild West at its best.